What up? Peace and blessings to the dope family. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. You know, this channel exists solely for the enlightenment, survival, and maturation of men. But women are welcome. So what I want to cover today is the nature of women. You know, we're gonna boil it down to the basics to help you understand why they act, feel, and think the way they do. You know, now this topic in particular is definitely a one size fits all. You know, but I want you to understand, I'm not talking about characteristics or personalities where everyone has a certain thing that makes them unique, you know? No, I'm talking about pure, raw, uncut nature. I would definitely say 99.9% of them operate under the same instincts. You know, there are levels to their nature, but intrinsically, they're all the same. So by definition, you know, nature in the sense that we're using it in is the particular combination of qualities belonging to a person, animal, thing, or class by birth, origin, or constitution, you know? Now, every now and then, you know, I know you and your boy come across this one that's just different. And 9 times out of 10, that's the one that takes you down through there and turns you into a MGTOW monk or something like that, you know? It makes you resort to these extremes because you never understood the basic nature of a woman. So you put this one on a pedestal thinking you bagged yourself a unicorn and you compromise yourself and revealed your weaknesses to her in reality, you know? And that's really only for her to become repulsed by the very things you thought were guaranteeing y'all's future. Now, I'm sure this has happened with multiple women for a lot of you listening now, and those failures with women have driven you to hate or mistreat them. You know, now make no mistake, a high quality woman is a very important part to a man's life. You know, after the kingdom is built, every king wants a queen he can share it with. You know, it's just the things that come with having a woman that we don't tend to care too much for. You know, we want our peace, our quiet, and our freedom to come and go without the third degree. You know, so basically we want a woman who understands our basic necessities of wanting them there, but also needing them to be able to keep the environment in a tranquil state. You know what I mean? Now, before we get into the thick of the content, as men, you should never complain about the nature of things, especially the nature of women. You know, you should seek to understand and master that nature so it no longer can cause you harm or derail what you have going on. You know, when winter comes, you cover up. When summer comes, you shed those layers because you understand the nature of those seasons, right? You know, you don't get into a cage with a gorilla. You don't get into a cage with a lion or a bear or something because you know the results may be fatal. Well, you know, people with sense don't do these things, of course, but you know, you had that random story every now and then of somebody climbing into a lion's den. but anyways, you understand the nature of many things in life, from inanimate objects to animals and humans, but why do most men seem to be at odds or simply frustrated and confused by a woman's nature, you know? You know, we'll wreck our minds trying to figure out anything that presents itself in our paths, but many of us remain paralyzed and defeated at the thought of, you know, just understanding women and how they move. Now, throughout history, all the way up until now, women have been innately trying to attach themselves to a man of ideal physical stature, wealth, and power. I'm gonna repeat that. It's ideal physical stature, wealth, and power. You know, that's why you hear so many sayings or see so many posts like, I don't mind how tall he is as long as I'm taller than him when I wear heels. You know, that amounts to your physical stature. Or a man should be able to provide for his family, you know, and that amounts to wealth. Or they'll brag about that dude being a supervisor, a business owner, a CEO or something like that. And that amounts to power. Now, a woman will definitely sacrifice one of the three, but you have to have at least two to be considered a valuable option. So for example, fellas, remember, if you're physically not attractive, you know, you must be wealthy and in a position of power. And if you're broke, you have to be physically attractive and in a position of power. And if you're not in a position of power, you have to be physically attractive and wealthy. You follow me? So women tend to subconsciously gravitate or seek out these traits in a man because what it means to them is it means comfort for her and her future children with you. You know, this physical aspect is important to them because it means the genes will be strong and their child will be healthy and hopefully attractive. You know, the wealth is important because wealth brings comfort and more freedoms in life to build, raise children, and it simply opens doors you would be oblivious to if you were less wealthy. And being with a powerful man gives her peace of mind and a feeling of security and being protected. Now, women will never admit the reasons as to why they want to be with you. You know, this is something you have to realize yourself. They will remain with you for who you are and what you can provide, and will package that as love. You know, love is the feeling she gets once all of or most of her needs are met by you. So make no mistake, once you or your circumstances change and who you are changes, and you can no longer provide her with the comforts or security you did once before, you know, then her view of you will change. And once her view changes, she will begin to come up with a strategy to exit. You know, but again, this is not for you to hate, despise, or shed tears over, man. Don't do that. You know, it's simply for you to understand and make the necessary adjustments in order for you to coexist with them. Because the woman's nature is directly tied to her emotions, you know, while a man's nature is tied to logic and ration. Now, you do have males that are driven by their emotions, and these are the males, and I say males because they're not men, you know, but these are the males that have a tendency and pattern of negativity. You know, what you get when you have a man controlled by his emotions is a man easily manipulated by women and outside forces for that matter. Now, don't get me wrong, every man should be aware and in tune with his emotions, but 100% in control of them. You know, you have to learn to speak the language of emotion in order to speak the language of a woman. You know, when she comes to you in an emotional state and you inject your logic as a solution, you will always be behind in these situations. All that matters to her at that moment is how she feels. You know, you have to recognize the emotional state she's in and empathize and feel into her state of being at that moment. You know, if she's angry or in tears, you have to acknowledge that and comfort her. When she's in a happier state, then you can offer your solution or logic to the situation because she would be more receptive of this train of thought at that time. You know, now this isn't treatment you give to any and every woman. You know, no, this is treatment you give to the woman in your life, you know, that you want to remain in your life, your woman, your mother, your sister, your daughters, you know, women in your life that actually mean something to you. Because for men who don't operate with their emotions, this can be draining. And if you allow any and every woman to get this form of flow from you, you know, then you will feel depleted mentally, physically, and spiritually. So there's definitely an art to speaking the language of a woman's nature. Now, for a brief recap, every decision a woman makes and every reaction to your decisions are purely emotional based, you know, whether she's appeasing to her hypergamous nature or simply just in a chaotic state. You know, all of this is emotional based. You know, her physical actions like fussing, fighting, nagging, cheating, catering to you, submitting to you, being your peace, supporting you where needed. These are all physical manifestations of her emotional state. This can also apply to men, but emotional men, of course. You know, a man who has spiritual high value can step back from minor emotional situations and see it for what it is and process how to move and how to move accordingly. And I say minor emotional situations because you have those times such as losing a loved one, for example, where your emotions can bubble up and spill over. You know, but you do have those men who are controlled by their emotions, and two emotional partners just can simply never work because both will be stuck in a state of I'm right and you're wrong, and no one is leading or coming up with a solution to the problems, you know. So now the longer you're with the woman, the more insight she has to your emotional side, and she knows the buttons to push. So be careful of this as well, but definitely learn to speak to those emotions. That's her language. You know, you have to have a level of emotional intelligence. I say that all the time. But like I always say, it's a hard journey, but a necessary journey of maturation. Remember, fellas, you got to calibrate that mind, body, and soul at all times. But before we go, be sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and the bell icon so you can stay up on the latest. Feel free to email me at dopediscourse@gmail.com for your free consultation, and I'll reply in private or on the channel if I feel a dope family can learn from it. But until next time, my dope family, I'm out.